Hello my dears, welcome to this video. I want to continue on the topic of natural medicine and again remind you of how powerful that is. Because sometimes, unfortunately, I see a lot of people who think that plant medicine is not as powerful as conventional nowadays medicine, pills, pharmaceuticals. And it's not the case. There are things that probably it's a lot more convenient to treat with conventional medicine of the nowadays, but I kind of have some things to say about that, and I want to tell you a little story, or better said, multiple stories of how I healed myself, and at one point I had 3 infections at once. I got super surprised when I saw that happening. I was like, it was really surprising because I couldn't even trace it in the astrological transits at that moment for myself. If you don't know, there is such a thing as medical astrology, and basically based on the movements of the planets in the skies, you can determine what kind of illnesses you would be faced with at certain points. I couldn't trace those 3 infections at that time. They were really kind of like out of the blue. Maybe if I look a little bit deeper into the chart of the time, I don't know. But I was going through some intense emotional times, and my overall mood was kind of low, and that obviously impacts you. It impacts your well-being, and because my emotional state and therefore my spiritual state was not so was not doing so well, my body got weak at that time. And maybe it's also, I think that sometimes I go through some experiences so that I can find the cures or solutions for those things, so that therefore I can teach others what to do. I think this is one of those things, because like 3 infections at once, it doesn't always happen, gratefully. It doesn't always happen. And I want to tell you how I managed to heal all those 3 infections very fast, without going to the doctor, without taking any pills, and I can tell you that the way I healed myself at that point was a lot faster than I would have done that had I taken any pills, because one of those infections, I had it years before, and at that point I was in high school. I didn't know that much, and my parents took me to the doctor, and they gave me a lot of pills, and it kind of took me 1 week to stabilize myself, and another week to really recover. Whereas when I did it myself with plants, well, this one, it wasn't with plants, it was with oils. I healed this one with oils. wasn't a miraculous timing compared to that time when I was in high school and I took pills. So, and the way I healed it with oils was a lot more pleasant. It had zero secondary effects. And this is a big deal. So, the first infection that I had, I'll go from toes to head. The first infection that I had was literally in the area of my toes. It was toenail infection. And I heard a lot of advice on what to use, what kind of things to buy to heal it. But like I said, before awakening, I myself tried pills and, I was taken to the doctor and all of that. And I don't like that thing, especially when they give you antibiotics. I don't like that. So I said, no, I'm gonna heal this. I know I can do it. And this is the key. When you start the self-healing journey, always the key is to trust yourself. Because this is not something like, like you're working with a deity or an angel or a spirit guide. This is basically you doing the healing for yourself. It's your vital force, your energy, your prana, your vital life force that is doing the healing. You are the one doing the healing for yourself. So that's why you have to believe in yourself. So if you don't trust yourself, don't even start. And this is the reason I'm telling this story, because I was able to heal 3 infections at once. I'm pretty sure you can heal yourself as well, okay? So, the way I healed the toenail fungus was through apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is the most famous remedy for toenail fungus, traditional remedy. And it worked. And another thing that I used was olive oil. Now, olive oil is amazing for your skin on a general level because it helps the skin breathe. And that's why, in ancient cultures, such as ancient Arab cultures, they used to have olive oil soap, and it was helping them a lot, and they didn't even have body odor thanks to that soap. You don't have to stress yourself, like you can just use the oil as it is. Now, because that oil is so amazing and it has this quality that it helps the skin breathe, it helped me a lot as well in terms of healing that area. So what I used to do is I immediately after shower I was applying the vinegar on my toes, and after the vinegar got absorbed, I would wait a little bit and then I would apply some olive oil. And I can't tell you exactly how fast it healed because I didn't track the days, I didn't take account of the days, but I know for certain it wasn't so long. It wasn't too long. And then the second infection, this is the one that I was talking about in the beginning, the one that I had in high school as well. It's kind of it's a sensitive topic because it's candida. So it's an infection of the intimate area. It's a vaginal, basically the pH of your intimate area as a woman gets imbalanced, and the healthy bacteria there starts to die, and the unhealthy bacteria starts to outnumber the healthy bacteria, and because of that, you have candida, and it's not pleasant at all. The reason I got sensitive to that is because when I was in high school, my biological mother is a nurse, and when I was in high school, something happened and she put me on antibiotics. And antibiotics have a lot of secondary effects that are not good for you. And because they are antibiotics, they kill the bacteria, and it's not just the bad bacteria, they kill all the bacteria. So when she put me on antibiotics for something else in high school, the secondary effect of those antibiotics was candida. So you see, it's exactly the structure of conventional nowadays medicine. You treat yourself for something, but then you get something else, and you have to treat yourself for that something else again and again, and it's a loop. So when that happened the first time, like I said, they took me to the doctor, and I had to take a lot of pills, and I didn't like it, and it took too long. And when these 3 infections happened, like I said, they happened all at once. Now, initially, I told her about a tooth infection, and she again wanted to go to an antibiotics treatment, but I said, I'm not going through that again. No, fuck that. And I entirely refused to take antibiotics. And the way I healed candida at that point was through coconut oil. So coconut oil has a lot of good attributes, and it's got antibacterial properties. Now, coconut oil is good for your skin, but it's also a very good lubricant, natural lubricant, with 0 secondary effects. And thanks to that, I was able to use coconut oil as the treatment for candida. And in just a few days, I healed myself. Just like that. I was amazed at how fast it happened. Like, I was not expecting that. And how easy it was. And then the third infection, actually the first infection chronologically, was a tooth infection. Now, a little bit of backstory here. I have a root canal. Again, when I was a teenager, they took me to the dentist, and I was having problems with a tooth. And that tooth was a very dramatic tooth, and I kept having problems. And eventually I had a root canal when I was in college. And if you don't know, a root canal is something very bad for your mouth because it's literally dead. Like, they take out the nerve, and that's not okay for any area of your body. I know conventional medicine says this and that about this type of procedure, and there's a lot of explanation on why it's okay to do it, but it's actually not okay to do it. And therefore, even though I had that root canal, that tooth would still get infections, obviously. But because I no longer have a nerve there, I don't feel the pain. So literally, there's no way for my body to signal to me, hey, there's something here. You see why the root canal is such a bad thing? And basically you have a dead tooth in your mouth because the nerve is not there anymore. So it got so infected that I was feeling the pain through the nerves around it. Like, I could feel it, it was somewhere there, but I couldn't quite trace it. It wasn't such a severe pain, but I could feel there was something there, and I could also feel the veins, I could feel them pulsating. So I knew there was something wrong. And that's the only place it could have been. And at first it wasn't that bad. Eventually it got very bad. It got like it was really annoying. At first, before it got so annoying, I had a bit of a soft approach to this, and I read about some plants, and I'm in love with antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, anti-fungic plants, and gratefully a lot of them have these attributes. I used turmeric, and I would apply it on my gums in that area. I also drank a lot of thyme, because thyme as well has these antibacterial, anti-inflammatory properties. And I would also apply thyme on my gum, but it wasn't healing it, even though I was doing that. I also tried St. John's wort, but I don't have that much of a connection with that plant. This is also something important, like you really need to have a connection with the plant or the oil you're working with. At least that's my opinion, that's my experience. So drinking those teas and applying those plants on my gum wasn't really healing it. Probably it would have, but not fast enough for me. And like I said, it got annoying. Like the pain got so it got a little bit more intense, and it was annoying. So I said, no, I'm not dealing with this. And I started doing magic. So basically what I had been doing up until that point was, you could call it magic as well, because magic also has a physical part to it. But I was strictly counting on the qualities of the plants. When the pain got so annoying, I said no. I'm taking things into my own hands, and literally. So I started doing something that you could probably associate it with Reiki. So basically what I did was I started visualizing the infection getting out. And when I was visualizing that, I was doing this with my hands, as if like literally pulling the infection out. And I kept doing it, but like with intention, and I was really thorough on that, because it had annoyed me so much that basically my Mars got activated, and it got so angry that it stepped into action. So I started doing this, and when I was doing this, I was, like I said, literally visualizing it, and I would take my hand like that and like throw it on the ground and imagine spitting it on the ground, stuff like that. That very night, I started spitting. What happened is that the infection moved into my sinuses. And because I was doing that, I manifested this so that I could spit it out. That night, I started spitting. And I kept spitting for 3 days. Now, the third day was just because I got obsessed with it and I wanted to get rid of it entirely. I don't think the third day was so bad. Like, in the third day, it was mostly just saliva. But the first 2 days, I was really spitting, that nasty thing out. So I think this is amazing, and the fact that I did this intuitively. I did not read it anywhere, I just started doing it intuitively like that. And you can do that as well. Now, another thing I want to talk about, it's a more recent example, because this thing with those 3 infections, it happened 2.5 years, no, 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. Yeah, it was 3 years ago. So, after that, gratefully I didn't get sick for a long time. And unfortunately, quite recently, I got sick again. This time, I could trace it astrologically. And if you're watching this video at the time when I'm releasing it, it's actually a very good time to watch it. Well, it's a good time to watch it at any time. But if you're watching it when I am releasing it, basically the North Node and Neptune are in a conjunction in Pisces. Pisces in itself can give you illnesses. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. It can give you illnesses and suffering. And the North Node expands everything it touches. So, but because the North Node is in a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces, and it's at the 28th degree of Pisces, it's basically whenever there's something happening in the last degrees of a sign, that's very serious. Like, it's very serious. And the more the planet is the more we're talking about further away planets, such as Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, the more those things get, like, serious. Because those are those planets have a lot of power. And when we're talking about the planets that have so much power in the last degrees of certain signs, well, yeah, you can guess that it's gonna be something big. And I noticed a lot of people talking about the fact that they got very sick lately. Also, an astrologer was talking to me about this, and the fact that in her area, she lives in the USA, and just as well, when the North Node was getting close to Neptune, people were getting very sick all of a sudden. So yeah, it's a good time to pay attention to your well-being and to just go to Mother Nature. So when that happened, when the North Node was getting very close to Neptune, I got sick as well. For a very long time, I had been working from home, gratefully. At that time, I had to go to the office. And because I had to go to the office and because of other things, I lost a lot of sleep, and I was also on my period. My body was not fighting very well. So I got a very bad sinus infection. But it was bad. Like, I've never had that kind of a... I had trouble with sinuses before, but never like that. I mean, it was hurting me so bad. I was having constant headaches, like to the point of every movement was hurting me. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, I was sitting and I would try to get up, and just doing that would cause a severe headache. And it was such an intense pain, as if someone was stabbing me with two knives like with a knife on each side of my head, and especially in the temples area, and then right here, it was very bad. And I could hardly breathe. I could no longer sense. I could no longer smell. It was weird. It was very weird. And especially that part with the headaches, like, it was so severe. When I experienced this, I got panicked because I didn't know that a sinus infection can actually cause that kind of pain. I did some research, and yes, it can cause, in severe cases, it can cause. And I had one of those severe cases. Now, obviously, had I gone to the doctor, pills. I'm not a fan of pills. And what I did, at first, I started drinking a lot of turmeric tea. Turmeric has antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, anti-fungic properties. And it's also a very boosting plant. And one night I got crazy with thyme tea. Like, crazy with it. And I kept doing this. Unfortunately, I couldn't heal this one that fast compared to those 3 infections that I talked about earlier. But this one was like, it was really bad. The headaches I experienced were just... So it took me kind of a week to see some results, and to see that the headaches actually got tamed. And then a few more days to really go through it and get rid of it. So it was serious. But eventually I got rid of it, and now I'm fine. People say that a sinus infection gets away by itself anyways. But that kind of sinus infection, you really need to help your body. And the way you do that is with this. Is with natural medicine. It's with things that actually help your body without secondary effects. I didn't get any antibiotics. Again, I could heal myself without that. And so can you. Like I said, it's not just plants. You can also use oils, which are also, extracted from plants. That's the moral of the story, is basically you can do it. You can heal yourself. You just need to trust yourself and Mother Nature. So go ahead, believe in yourself and believe in the miracles of this world and the miracles of the material world as well. Because we can create those miracles for ourselves. So let's do it.